The work of God captured in the end of the time is based on sonship. The measure of sonship that is captured within the heart of a man is the degree to which God can express his dominion in any place, in any time. Real dominion rests on the shoulders of son. Are you a son?
It's a promise child, and God have already promised before his birth. About 6 months pregnancy, the Holy Spirit talked about him and give him name, Chinedu, Edu Udechukwu. N'oge ọ ga-amụcharụ Chinedu, about 2 years, enwe chọọchị mkpa wee je. Mgbe na dị chọọchị, mgbe sị na ebe ya nwụrụzie time ka ebido prayer n'ebe ahụ. The workers are na-ekpe ekpere. Eventually oge ha kpekọtara ekpere, ha nọkọta ha sị ka onye mmụọ nwa dị n'ebe a. Ha sị that the mantle has raised upon this child. Even though that time I did not understand what it means. The prophecy came again and said that this mantle is not in his father's hand, but is in his son. Mgbe ọ na-etozi n'ebukwa, ọ dị ka a ga-asị na Chineke kwadoro ya maka ministry a site n'eluigwe. Ọha achọ okwu, ọ daa ọgụ. Even oge ọ na-agụ akwụkwọ, Chinedu is a loving child. Not today, the love started from his bodies. Love is like something he born with. And the Chinedu bụ onye nwere eziokwu sitere. Ịma na o nwere eziokwu mmadụ na-enweta, a na-akụziri okwu Chineke, but o nwere eziokwu inborn.
I think Papa, one of the things about him is that he has always been consistent. I can't exactly pick out any point where I said he was this. In fact, one of the things I actually admired from him far back as university days is his focus and his consistency. I have not really seen anything that has, and his love for God has always been something that has always been immemorial. It's not like something that just landed upon him. Even while we were little, we could actually see the physical proof of his love for God. So there is not really a point you will say he veered off or something distracted him. His focus is too. Sometimes I wonder, how does he even, is it that other things, they don't matter? Is it that he's not seeing things? Is it that, but I didn't really see things matter to him, apart from God. I didn't really see anything matter to him that much that he will give his focus and consistency to that thing.
Automatically, your elder brother is your elder brother. So we look up to him, not just intellectually, not just spiritually, but around. When we have challenges, he's easily accessible. Even when we are young, you can come up to him. Even girls stuff, I don't know how, but he knows at least to some extent how to handle all of them.
One of the best times I've enjoyed Papa is actually when he's at home, when he's on the pulpit. So he actually has a way with words that can, it won't be before he started ministry. He had a way with words that he starts talking. He keeps all of us spellbound at home, and we are just looking at him. And we want to listen. He has this thing with words, and there's this thing about him that he knows how to approach a matter, even if it's not a spiritual matter. So staying with Papa while growing up was actually enjoyable. I think he's the one that introduced a lot of things in the house, playing of game and all those. We had a lot of things to make the house lively.
Yes. There are. Just that sometimes you will not know that these are matters, because you don't have the experience and the knowledge you possess now. But there are. It's when now that if you look back and really carry your mind backward, you will see there are matters. At least I know 3 instances. Specific instances, I was like, even a normal person can do this.
Even when he was young, he was in the choir, Sunday school, evangelism. So if you see someone doing all of these things, you can easily tell he can be this. But we didn't know it was like this until, let me say, for me, it was when he entered the university.
Of course, he's still my spiritual father. Will always be my spiritual father, actually. My expectation getting married to him was in many ways very uninformed. There was a kind of person I felt he was. Getting married to him over these few months, I think I was very mistaken. The part of him I used to see is the is the ministry part and the always serious, always firing. But then living with him these few months, I realized he's not like that actually. One thing that has actually struck me too is the fact that all of the things he says and does outside, he maintains them no matter where he is. In fact, personally, I'm a lot challenged by the fact that he's who he is everywhere. He doesn't say pray and he does not pray. In fact, usually I think living with him means, I don't want to say judgment for me if I don't achieve certain things, because you could see that this person is busy and has a lot of things to do, but then he's able to balance up different aspects of his life. So living with him, sometimes when he says certain things, you would not know that that's exactly how he does them indoors, but then that is how it is. Over these months, I've had to relearn. I've had to note my own mistakes, note how much of time I have that I'm not investing. I've just been challenged all the way.
In fact, one of the greatest things I respect about him is how he raised his family. There was a time during our university days, I think I was in that 100 level. One of my sisters needs form for post-CME. He called me and said I should go and get the form. So later in the evening, he called me and said, did you get the form? I said no. He said, why? I said, my schedule was too tight that it will inconvenience me. But there is one statement he made, and even till today, I still live with that statement. He said, do you know how far you will inconvenience yourself because of family?
That's actually, I think, should I call it an attribute or something I admire about him. Every lady would actually want that in whoever she wants to spend the rest of her life. I don't know how he does it. Like, he has the ability to still combine everything together and none is suffering. The way he takes his ministry personal, he takes his family personal. Like, takes it personal, whether it is physical needs or whether it is spiritual needs, he takes it personal. Sometimes he buys things and I'm wondering, we don't need this thing now, but sometimes he calls, what do we, if you need anything, let me know. Like, he's that particular about your physical. Sometimes he would even I remember times that he has sent me home from tent. So someone will look at me and say, you dress well. It was actually a deliverance. So I know times when Papa was sending me home, go and change your clothes. How can you dress like this and you are a leader? I will cry and we will go. And he will say it's deliverance, but I did not understand it then. So after a while, when you check, you will now see, you might like the present you, people might like the present you, but it's as a result of someone's input and someone's labor. So when it comes to family matters, Papa is very, very particular about it, and is a value and is an attribute to glean.
He's doing well. I've really not even seen any aspect of Papa's life that he does not balance. Literally, aside this ministry and family one, I think it's a spiritual wisdom. When he's at home, he's at home. It doesn't really even show that sometimes he can be absent.
Okay, these are actually one or two that I know of. He can read books very well. Not any book, especially his literary fiction. He can read books very well, not just spiritual books, novels, and all of that. And he loves football. That one, I'm 100% sure of that one. His nickname is T-Baba, as in Victor, and he's a Liverpool fan. So he was his love for football that actually made me become a fan of football before something else happened to me, so I left that one. So
I think as a person, he likes reading. Aside Bible, he does quite a lot of reading. He likes exercise. If I could say that's a hobby, he exercises well.
The statement is not too much, because being his sister is more like a huge responsibility, very huge, but there is an euphoria there because there are some privileges attached to it. There are some things that tend to open for you just because you are his sister, but apart from those things, the responsibility is much. And because most times some persons now expect much from you. Just that he also grounded us in the fact that we don't tend to overdo things just to prove that we are his sisters. So we know our place and all of that, and don't allow the praise of men and the privilege to make us start behaving the way we ought not to behave. But there is excitement there. There is. Sometimes I'm actually happy, I'm very happy, but it has its limits so that we won't do things that we ought not to do.
Hey, do I feel excited? The excitement used to overwhelm me. I'm now understanding that in people used to say that I want to go to the top of the hill and then shout. Like sometimes I feel like going to the top of the hill to shout, Apostle, this is my brother. Like I want to express myself. If there is a way I can just carry the badge and be walking, like and be walking on the road, Apostle, this is my. But me, I realized that with that stuff comes a responsibility. So any name you carry that relates with Papa, there is a higher responsibility. So if you are saying Apostle Edu is my brother, there is what people are already expecting from you. They don't want to know whether you have attained that level or not. As long as you say, even if you say he's your father, that one alone, so you not say he's my brother, but that Apostle Edu is my brother. That's my badge, spiritually and physically. I used to carry it like my life depends on it.
Excitement, really, wow. I don't know if that's the right expression, but I'm happy to be married to Apostle, that's for sure. I'm happy to be married to him as a person. Being married to him has been a good thing, has been one of the best things that God has done for me. Yes, there are many things I wouldn't have done, there are many things I wouldn't have become if I didn't get married to Apostle.
There is one particular thing about him that I've always, should I say, there are two of them that I've always converted with my earnest being. It's actually not really his prayer grace, because I know that prayer is more like a family inheritance. Anybody that comes into revival hub gives himself, the Spirit comes.
I've looked at a man that is embedded in wisdom.
His wisdom.
When he speaks, when he acts, it's as if there is a template playing in front of him.
Sometimes I used to sit down and I used to wonder, how does he even manage all these things? It takes wisdom to put this one, put it in place. Know the one that is important and the one that is not important. Sometimes he gives you counsel, which is the byproduct of wisdom. If there's anything I've coveted so much, it's his wisdom. I don't know how he used to be. He knows at this point that this is where you are and this is where you need to be.
He has a robust mindset. He doesn't see anything small. He doesn't reason small. He doesn't think small. Sometimes the reason why I just want to stay with him, even if it's few minutes, if I stay, even if I don't talk, I don't do anything, he will give you a robust mindset. There is a way he transmits it. Even if it's business you are doing, you will stop doing your business first.
Lord, use me. That's a good prayer. But a more important prayer is ask God to make you usable. I started as a teacher of Sunday school in the village. I started teaching Sunday school as a teenager. I taught before I entered campus. All my time in campus, I taught Sunday school. Look at my sister here. My pastor is still at Onsuka. He can testify that it's some 300 level. I started praying like this. It was in youth service. I shifted to prayer ministry. It's not as if I've not been praying well. I prayed 3 hours, but I made prayer my occupation. I understood that there is a move of God coming, and it will stand on the shoulders of priesthood. I gave myself to it. I said, Lord, since his prayer,
He introduced me to his church in school. I liked what they were doing, because it was very different from the background I had. And the pastor there was worded. He knew the scripture. So I joined the decoration unit. He was there. His life in the church was not hidden. He was so dedicated that he didn't actually tell me to do things. But when I saw what he was doing, because he handled the ushering unit, so I saw what he was. I know what I was just slippered, but his own was just overboard. I can see the dedication, the passion, and the zeal there. He would just gather people, not just for hours, teach them the word of God. Before they can actually do anything, they must pray, hear the word of God. When I saw all of that, I was like, wow, since when can ushers sit down 3 hours, study, and do so many things? So, and not just that, he was the helper for me.
If you have not studied the Udechukwu, how did you learn how to pray? The man is a prince. He's a prince on the matter of prayer. When I study his books, I don't read. I don't read to know. I read to have encounter. Anytime I open his books those days, I'm always on fasting. I say I want to encounter. His words are like liquid fire. How did you study him and you are normal? Those were the books. Those kind of books, I don't say I have read it. There is nothing like I've read those kind of books. There is nothing like I ask you, have you read it? When you say I've read it, I look at your life, there is nothing. And in those seasons, there were people that I chose. I didn't just stumble on this prayer thing by luck. No, you don't do this kind of thing. It's a whole season of building up my capacity in the mysteries that is prayer. I kept loading myself. Edu Udechukwu, the full 5-in-1 anthology on prayer. I bought the book, I was chewing it. I was not reading, I was chewing it. When I finish chewing, I regurgitate and start chewing again.
We come to female hostel without shame, just preach every Sunday, every morning. And then took evangelism, practically all the hostels. The girls, it's easy to preach to people of like gender and all of that. But he did, I don't know how he got to immune himself from that, but he can stand and do whatever. You know, his finance went there. Because there was a time he even came to one of my hostels. There was no sound, nothing. He had with their mouth. He prayed, things happened. God showed up.
We prayed, came to Nkrumah hostel one of those days. We were speaking. People were falling.
I stayed in flat and I stayed in Nkrumah, and those hostels I stayed, I used to literally hear him doing morning evangelism. I will hear, I was like, even at the fellowship I attended, I think one of the things that made me know some of the fellowship leaders because of Papa. He stayed, some of them were his roommates, so they already knew, and you know that kind of thing. People are already expecting much from you because they are saying, this guy. Sometimes I wonder, how did he combine all these things and then he still did well academically? Like, he's always, you do evangelism, his Bible study, he teaches Bible study, he's in charge of ushering department, he doesn't go, he still does all these things and his academics do not suffer. So I've seen him, should I say, carry God on top of his head. So he took it personal, like especially that evangelism aspect, he took it personal. Like he'd always say, he took evangelism to almost all the hostels. So when he's saying those things, there are actually people that are living proofs of what he did. I actually witnessed it.
If you remove a custom, a people's heritage is lost. Very soon they won't know where they are coming from. They can even forget their father's name. Why? The customs are removed. The ancient landmarks are removed. The stones of identification, they are uprooted. And a generation came, they didn't know how to bring down God. They are doing many things. When you tell them the truth, they will say it's too hard. It's not too hard. It's how what is the custom? What is the custom?
I could not understand why he would keep doing things. For example, he would go to tent, come back, go for meetings, come back. Times when even me, I would have just backed off. I will not kill myself. But he would just keep going. He had a way of being able to combine, even his social media life. He will respond to chats. He will be there for everybody at every time. He's individually interested in everybody, and then he's always checking up and knowing what you should do as individuals and as many as we are. Certain challenges that ministry comes with and certain issues, I see the way he's confronting them, and I'm like, I can't do this thing if there is nothing keeping me going. There has to be something that is making me do it. If I don't have any motivation, it's going to be really difficult to keep up and to keep up for a long time.
You don't know how God rewards if you think that the reward for following Jesus is to give you money, to make you rich. After you have suffered a while, then you become rich. If that was my reward, I don't need to be in faith in the first place. Because you can actually make that money without being here. That can be the reward. You have to set your eyes on the cross. That's the only way to see the real reward. The reward is in the cross, not in things.
Sometimes people do think that he's performing magic. Because I've got to see so many persons that will come up to me and say, I want to become this, I want to become that, I want to look like that, I want to do what. Just give them the barest minimum of assignment. You cannot lose. So one of the things is discipline.
I will press into God so much that another generation will not need to suffer that part again. I will devote my life to it.
It's open, but you see a mystery in the open. A mystery in the open.
When I'm through with my labors on earth, on my bed as I want to sleep and join the witnesses, tongues will be upon my lips. I die to rest. Let my labors be immortalized. Raise a generation and several generations. Let the same man to fall upon them. Don't allow them to rest until our labors has found the manifestation. Then I will rest.